Welcome to Type Tune Tint. I'm Tom Kranz. From the darkest corners of addiction to the brightest heights of recovery, Sam Gladu has a story to tell.
As I look back at who I was, incredible what drug does. I was destroying myself when I was destined for greatness. I didn't want to die nameless. I was forgetting who I was, aimless.
Multiple stories, really, in his original songs performed as DjRetsam, a rap sensation attracting thousands of streaming followers. His songs reach out to addicts, but also echo regrets about opportunities lost, love lost, and time lost to cocaine addiction. Today, 10 years sober, Sam has rediscovered his voice. After writing songs since age 13, he's recording songs old and new. And now at age 35, DjRetsam is looking down the barrel of success. And I'm joined right now by Sam Gladu from his palatial estate in the suburbs of Montreal, correct?
Yeah, about 50 minutes away from there, yeah.
Yeah, so we're stretching out into Canada. We've done, we've done Australia, today Canada. That's it. California, that's almost like another country, but that's another whole thing. Sam is also known as DjRetsam, and he is an extremely prolific rap artist, songwriter, podcaster. He also is the CEO of a nonprofit that gathers used books and gives them to needier. I mean, there's so much here. I'm not even sure I can get it all in a half hour, but we'll do one thing at a time. I had the pleasure of being a guest on Sam's podcast, Rumbling Facts. It's out there, folks. It talks about all kinds of stuff with all kinds of diverse people, which is one of the reasons I was kind of attracted to it. You know, Sam, it's like no holds barred. Sam will talk to anybody about anything, which I love. And Sam is a very genuine person. So how are you today, Sam? Thanks for joining.
I'm doing great, and having you on the podcast initially was a very eye-opening, seeing that other side of EMT and learning that people have struggles, and you were juggling those two jobs. That was quite amazing. So I'm just fortunate to have met you.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm fortunate to have met you. You've had some of your own struggles, like I guess we all kind of have. But for right now, I'm going to read the very first sentence on the most recent post I saw on your Facebook page, which is 2024 has been a year that changed my life. I never imagined things would fall into place like they did. Cool. That's really a nice, optimistic way to start this little chit chat. So give me the top highlight that makes 2024 so great so far for you, Sam.
Because I'm OCD, so I procrastinated for 21 years writing music. So I was writing when I was 13, and I'm 35 right now. And releasing for the first time was January 2nd. So that was
January 2nd of this year, 2024.
Yeah. So,
wow. Okay.
So for me, that was a huge milestone. I didn't care if nobody listened to it. At least I got the door open, and that was the beginning. Because after I released it, even if for me it wasn't perfect to the highest degree, but oh my God, the adrenaline of dropping it and okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's go next one. And oh my God, for the first time, we started releasing. Because finding a producer when you're an artist, I realized it's all a scam world. It's all a scam world. I lost $14,000 in 31 different producers.
Oh, geez.
Because you go in that bill, they ask you that 50 or $200 an hour, and you leave with nothing. And finding somebody that believes in you as much as you believe in yourself, well, it's hard. And most people want that pay instead of that royalty. But you want a guy that wants that royalty because he's going to care if that song is good. So I found one 5 years ago, and he couldn't do rap. So it really made me introduced to rap. And that's where I did like my first 2-3 shows in bars for the first time. And when I met my producer 3 years and a half ago, me and him just clicked to the highest degree in music and in beliefs and in knowledge. Like it's a drug knowledge. So right when I found that guy, I started working with him to the highest degree. And my breakup was in November. And I had a flame in me just to get revenge, not to hurt her, just for me to go get success and make her pay. Oh, fuck, he's achieving. He's not on pause anymore. He's not on stall. So I told my producer,
getting hurt and having a breakup was actually part of an inspiration for you, was a spark for you.
Absolutely. It was
really
a flame. I told my producer we're going to start releasing ASAP. So he was like, okay, wait a second. And then we figured out, okay, we're going to start releasing this first one January 2nd. So it all starts after that. And for sure, I got multiple milestones that I liked. We hit like 90,000 books 5 days ago. Gave back, and I touched 140,000 streams a couple days ago as well. So these two achievements are huge for me, because I never thought people would gravitate to my music, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of your music, I've looked at quite a few of your music videos here, and
It's probably not your type.
well, okay. So full disclosure, I was never really that huge a rap fan because it's too much work. You got to listen. It's all about the words, right? It really is, because every song is a poem, every song is a journey, not just yours, everybody's, but I completely respect rap artists. I don't totally get, I get where it came from in the States. It's really kind of ghetto music, and it's really kind of street poetry, really is what it is. And I respect all those people out there who have made it, and you're on the way yourself. Just because I don't listen to it in my car doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it,
No,
But
but I'm saying that because I'm telling myself, you probably forced a bit yourself to listen.
Hey, I'm an old fart. What can I tell you? I'm like a jazz classical guy, but I also like Flume, and I like some of your tunes. I just listened, in fact, to a couple of your tunes. They have kind of a melancholy tone to them. They're in minor keys. You wrote a song about, let's see, Amazing Taste. That's one of the songs you mentioned that made one of the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's about some woman who you absolutely idolized.
Baby, your lips have such an amazing taste. Whatever happens, every memory I would never erase. Every day I want to see a cute face and touch your hot waist. You always know how to make my heart race, because you're my queen and I'm your ace. I never regret passing first base.
Was that like the love of your life who then went away? That's somebody else.
Not at all.
Is this a make-believe woman?
Yep.
Jeez.
To the highest degree. And I wrote that song at the same time I wrote Cheesy to Say. It's like a week difference, and I wrote that when I was 19, both of them. And when my grandmother read those books, those songs, she read the song and she started crying. I'm like, "Why are you crying?" "Oh, it's so beautiful, Sam. Who are you thinking? Are you thinking about this girl that was singing?" I'm like, "No, not at all. This is the feeling I would have if I would be in love to the highest degree." And Cheesy to Say is more everything a guy doesn't say to that girl that he should say. So both songs really fit together, one after another.
You procrastinated and you put off, but really it's not so unusual for people to have an itch to create something in their teens. I've talked to a couple of writers about this thing. They felt the itch, they wanted to write, but it took either a teacher or some event or some trauma or something good in their life until they finally said, "Hey, I am writer. I don't need somebody's permission to do this. I can just do it." So I don't think that's all that unusual. Let's go back just a little bit here. All the music that I'm listening to, that's all created by you on your computer, all the instrumentation, all the singing.
All my producer. He has a recording studio at his place. So that's where we saving money to the highest degree. So he works every aspect of sound that you hear. For sure, I got a creative thought in that, but literally, I don't know how to create music at all. I'm the one that is a good writer. So I normally, how we work to create the beat, I'm gonna read him the first verse, not the chorus, the first verse, and he knows how I feel right now about the song. He creates it right there. It's always exactly what I think the song should sound out without me thinking in advance. That's what I want. I don't know what I want. And then he takes it out. I'm like, bro, that is incredible.
You've had songs and music and writing within you since you were a kid, really.
When I realized that we needed a diary in life, and I didn't want to be that person with a little book that walks around, but I had the line paper, big line paper, and everybody that knew me in high school, or they were like, "Oh, this guy always have these 2-3 books just writing all the time." Because each time I had a thought, I wrote it down. Each time I had a feeling, wrote it down, and try to make the person reading it feel what I was feeling, feel that he's in that room as well.
So you made notes and just kept thoughts and emotions on paper for all those years.
Yeah,
and that's what you based, and you based your songs on those.
Yeah. Wow. And I still have all the original papers to the highest degree. It's incredible that they managed to follow me.
There are a lot of writers who do the same thing. They take notes and then they outline, their chapters, and then they sit down and write. I tried doing that. I don't have any freaking discipline at all. I told you before, I have no attention span whatsoever. That's why my podcast episodes are around half an hour. I've got the attention span of a goldfish. So I get an idea. I sit down and I start writing. I just kind of vomit writing. I just put it down, and then I walk away and come back in a couple of days and look at it. And then I write everything like from beginning to end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't write, I don't spit out a couple paragraphs here and then rearrange it. I just sit down, and that's how I've written all my books. And that works for me. It kind of makes it fun. It's like the story unfolds while I'm writing it. I don't even know how it's going to end most of the time. Did you, so after November, you decided, all right, I'm going to get off my ass and I'm going to record these songs.
Yep.
And are all of these songs that you wrote over the years, or are some of them new as well?
Oh yeah, there are some that are literally from this year. But in the first, like, I think 6 or 7, I think 5 of them are old writings. And yeah, I think there's only one really new one in those ones that I wrote that year. And it was Levels of Complication. I wanted to explain people how complicated my mind is. So that's why I called it Levels of Complication. Because honestly, even people that know English, well, if they just listen to a song, you're going to be a bit lost with the metaphors and imagery. But I did like a little clip, so the visuals you understand there where I'm going with all that. But that's the only one in the first ones that was a new writing.
What is your biggest obstacle in your creative process?
Before, it's still the same thing, but now I know how to work with it. When you have a blockage, you said that you take a break, come back later, have a fresher mind, and keep moving. Me, I realize if I do that, man, I can be stuck for months. So what I realize is I gotta stop focusing to write one song. Any thought that I have in rhymes or in imagery that makes me feel I need to put in a song, I'll write it down. So I have sections in my notes that it's called extras. And you just have these 2 lines, 5 lines here, and they all rhyme, they're all placed, but they don't make sense with nothing. And so I'm writing at least from 8 to 16 songs at once. So every time I'm like, okay, well, this right here, this fits right there. And there was one like a love song that I said in the song, I was at the top of my cloud and I fell, and I eliminated that line from the song because I wanted the song to be a bit more positive. And I took this part that was technically made for a breakup song and put it in my prison song in the chorus. So it fits perfectly there. So I don't want to stop my mind to be creative because I just want to move forward. And if I stick to one thing, well, writer's block exists. Now you can just put it in the right section. And if you don't have one, put in the extras. And sometimes I recheck the extras and I'm shocked. I wrote this shit? What? That's why you need to write your thought right away.
So you said you have OCD, but you sound like a master of multitasking. Actually, if you're writing 8 different songs at once and you're plucking part of this one out and putting it over here, and you've got your extras and that boggles my mind. I don't, I mean, God bless you for being able to do that. And that's your creative process. And, all I can say is go with it because it's obviously working. How did you feel when you heard your first produced song?
Honestly, I did a video about this. Oh my goodness. Like I say, I'm like, I know people, it don't sound perfect, but we had to release it. And for sure it wasn't like on point, sound perfect, but the lyrics were exactly what I wanted to say. It's just I wasn't good enough to put it sound perfect on beat. The chorus was incredible, but it's me emptying my heart about this breakup. That's the first song. It's Dark Winter Bliss.
Sad nights, dark winter bliss, pain you won't be missed. Lonely nights, dark winter bliss, shit hurts getting dismissed. Crazy nights, dark winter bliss, can't believe I feel like this.
She lit a flame in me to literally start releasing. So I wanted, before releasing a song that we already had prepared, we really released that one, the one I just wrote, because that's the first part of the whole story. And in my last song that's not out yet, I say, and I'll see you guys at Christmas, because after that it's going to be a whole year when we do that come back around. For sure, I wanted it to be better. But when we wait for something to be fucking perfect, it's going to be a long ass life, people, because something perfect is so rare. So might as well do your best, give it all. And when you feel it's maybe close to release it and move on. Next one, go. Keep. And like that, you learn the process. Because if you don't release, you're not learning shit. You're just on pause, technically, by thinking you're not good enough yet. But if you don't start releasing, don't start writing that book, don't start doing that, well, you're just going to stay stable on pause. And you don't want that.
That's a great approach. It really is. I mean, it forces you to just keep on creating and keep on pushing stuff out, because
and it gives you the pressure after you release one, because you're like, oh shit, I told everybody I'm gonna release one every 2 weeks. So then 2 weeks later, that other one come out, then the other one, and it just kept going one after another.
We're going to take a little break here so that I can shamelessly self-promote my book, Wreck and Return. We talked a little bit about that on your podcast, but I just do a little commercial here. Folks, read this book. It's really good. And we'll be right back with Sam. All right, we mentioned briefly your nonprofit, and it's called Making Others Read, correct?
Yeah, and in French,
tell me what that is. What's
and in French, it's called Sam fait, Sam making others read, because and not as the name, but because in French, when you say somebody makes somebody else read, you say Sam fait. So, but like that, it even has my name in it. So I was like, that's fucking epic, and it's my friend's wife that figured that out. And it all started there because I had a nightmare, and books changed my life when I was a kid. I was 11 years old, and my grandma bought me the 801.5 Lies and Truths About the Titanic. That shocked me forever, realizing that there's way more to every story in life. So that became a drug for me. So I knew books are everything. So when I arrived here, where I live now, I got robbed twice in the past 4 years, and I was sober. And I'm telling you, I wasn't shit before doing crap. Nobody stole from me, okay? And in 5 years, I got cleared twice. When I say cleared, I mean no fridge, no toothbrush, no pictures of family, no T-shirts of hockey with your name on it. Everything gone twice.
Did they catch them? Did they catch the guy or?
No, two different people that didn't even know each other. And two people that I would have took a bullet for. So when I moved to Bromont, the first thing I didn't do is give my address to fucking nobody. So nobody knew where I lived. And I had nothing. I had a little 22-inch TV. I had one hat left. I had one shoe that talked because I was poor as shit. And I had everything robbed. And I wanted to give back my time. So I went to this thrift shop just to help the elderly down there with the physical. And at a certain point, after 5 days, I was realizing that we're throwing out 200 to 600 books a week. And I was like, what the hell? And in my life, I realized that if an author makes 50,000 copies of a book, there's 50,000. So I started throwing them out, and that number gets shortened. So I had a nightmare, I think, that week after. And I woke up there. I was just seeing these two giants throwing it in a furnace, books. And I was jammed there. I couldn't do shit. The next day, I called the thrift shop. I'm like, okay, we ain't throwing no more books out. Like, well, Sam, what the hell we're going to do with the box? I don't know. But what you're going to do is put my name on the boxes. I'm going to come every week, pick them up, and I'm going to figure out something. I didn't know what yet. I just wanted to make sure we're not throwing out knowledge. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I started doing research online, what I could do with this. And I was starting realizing there's some books that are worth something. I'm like, that could pay at least the gas for me to do what I want to do. And I realized that in cities around here, we have boxes beside the road that are called aller-retour. That means you read and you give back, and you put back. So you take one, but that doesn't happen. People just take in life like we know. But me, I didn't give a shit if they took it forever. Me, I just want to give them back. Because each time I went to Granby all my life, I saw those boxes, but they were empty all the time. So now they're filled every week. I fill 3 cities up been 3 years and nobody else does that. So each week, every 6 days to 9 days, I go with my car, a little hatchback in that town, and I'm telling you, the car is packed to the rafters. And I each time I go 6-7 days after, they're empty every week.
So somebody's taking them and presumably reading them, right?
Yeah, because
So
they're at bus stops and parks.
Is that the primary place where you give away the books, or do you give them away elsewhere? That's how you do it, basically.
Yeah, and sometimes when I got too much children books, because that happens because we only have 2 boxes at parks. So what I do with those, I go to daycares, and I ask if they need books, and if so, I drop them 2-3 banana boxes. Oh my God, because it's so expensive, especially for daycares, because it's not their kids. So for them to start buying books, they won't do it. But I had too many, and I had to figure out a way for, let's say that happens, the box is still full. I need to find a way to keep giving. So I started just calling those places, and they accepted most of them, my books, unless they had some in advance, but they were all surprised and they all took it normally.
And you mentioned you just eclipsed 90,000 books that you've done this with, right? Jesus. So over how many years are we talking about here?
3 years and a half about by myself.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
I can't wait to be at that 100,000.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's worth a celebration, right?
Oh, damn right.
You mentioned in your youth, was your grandmom who said there's more to everything in life, or you learned that from somebody? There's more to everything. Things don't they're not the way they appear. That seems to be a theme in quite a few of your podcast episodes. When you go to Rumbling Facts, you've talked to 1 or 2 conspiracy theorists. You talked to me about a little bit of behind the scenes, behind the news business. And that seems to be a theme of yours: honesty, and kind of being, looking beyond what's on the TV. You've got one song where you talk about the box in the corner, and I don't remember the lyrics, but
that oblong box in the corner of the room is constantly telling us what to believe is real.
Right, exactly. So you are very aware that there's, it's almost like there's a matrix, right? And that maybe we're not, that there's the matrix, but are we living in the matrix or reality, right? So
it's like it, because there's a veil on most stories that I want to pull off.
So how do you do that? I mean, how do you determine what's real and what's not real?
Well, instead of just accepting what is given, I'm going to fact check, research, listen to both sides, literally go through. When I was a kid, after I read that book, I was 14, 3 years later, and I was calling people in Belfast about the Titanic. Experts that put their life on hold just to study the Titanic.
Because you had to know, you wanted to know.
Oh yeah. Fuck what the government has been telling me. I want to know from people down there, was there really a fire in that sixth engine? Yes, there was. And all this stuff there. And then you realize that the movie comes out in 97, and they kept pushing that one boat, and I was like, what? It's a replica of the Olympic, and nobody knows that, because even the movie made sure that you don't look at the Olympic. So after that, I was like, God damn. So everything, probably there's a bigger reason for it. So you got to be outside the box. It's okay to take the news, but tell yourself that there's probably a reason they're pushing a narrative.
Well, that's really kind of encouraging for me as a news person. For a little while after I left CBS, I taught journalism at a university on Long Island. And one of the classes that was taught, not by me, but by other professors, was something they called news literacy. And that was about teaching kids in college, what does that mean? Just because somebody says it's news or a story, does that mean you're just going to take it at face value? And it taught people to kind of look at news the way they buy a refrigerator. You don't just buy the first one you see in the store. You do your research, you go online, you talk to other people, you see how this particular newscast has been vetted. What about the New York Times, and what's their editorial policy and all that stuff. And people really need to do that here in the States anyway, now more than ever, because I know that the word fake news has gotten really popular here. But unfortunately, there is a lot of fake news, especially on social media. I'm one of the last people in the world who sits down at 6:30 and watches an evening newscast, because I grew up with that. I'm an old news fart from way back. So I sit down and I watch NBC or CBS, whatever. But most people don't do that. They get their phone from this right here or from other people or from social media. And you really have to do what you have to like for your own sake, so that you're not, spreading bullshit and believing lies. You have to kind of do homework on your own. That's important to do.
And for me, all my life, I never wanted to lie, and I hate lying. Even when I was a kid, I knew the best way for my mom not to know would be lying, but I couldn't lie. So I was putting myself in trouble all the time because I was just saying everything that I thought. And my mom sometimes, I got fired, not fired, like sent away from school because of my unfilteredness. And she was pissed on the phone every time. Why the hell are you bringing Sam back home? Don't you guys know that you're giving him vacation? We're like, what the hell? It's like the punishment is keeping him in school, not he's like, accept it, love. My son's gonna be unfiltered, so don't ask the question you don't want a fucking answer to.
So unfiltered, is that a euphemism for you just kind of said what was on your mind and
all the time?
To hell with the impact.
Oh yeah, exactly. I don't care about the impact, because if you can't take reality, it's not my fucking fault. It's like everybody has the right to have their own opinion. And I respect any opinion that gets said. I don't live behind a mask, and I think words are fucking important. So that's why I promote critical thinking and everything. And I was the first one when 9/11 happened to tell all my friends, "Oh, you gotta look at that, because you never seen two buildings fall that fast." And literally, I was one of the first. I was like before the Michael Moore's documentary that really broke it. Like, I was before that. I was like, if Titanic wasn't probably an accident, because there's just a lot that we can't know about it. Well, 9/11 and all the rest after, Las Vegas shooting and the Gulf of Tonkin and all this, I was like, wow. So they don't mind killing people to have a narrative go in a certain direction. So, and I felt there's comfort in truth. There's comfort in reality. So before I go to sleep all chill, I rather know that the 2,997 people that died on 9/11, I rather know the truth than accept what was fed.
Yeah, you remind me a lot of a friend of mine here in New Jersey named Marklin Johnson. He hosts a podcast. He's an MC. He's also a comedian, a stand-up comedian. Really, he sounds just like you in that, I'm unfiltered. This is what I think. And if you want me to live a lie, that's not going to happen. This is the way. And plus, he's black. So he's very sensitive to the microaggressions and the kind of bullshit that just goes with being a black man in America. This has gotten him in trouble. He's lost friends. I think he's probably lost a job or two, although he never actually said that to me. But, people get friendly with him because he's got a great personality. He's very charming. But, when they hear something they don't like, it's like, adios. So I'm guessing this has cost you, in addition to being tossed out of school once or twice in your youth, it's cost you more maybe, huh?
Yeah, I lost two big jobs I loved and 3 jobs total.
Okay, so speaking of working, do you have a day job?
Well, not really, because I'm concentrating so much on my music and the podcast. But what I do is I have 2 friends in particular that need their houses clean, and I do that for them. Okay. And I do charity by cleaning the thrift shop that I used to. So I still take the books, but at the same time, once a week, I go clean out there because I have an obsession with no germs and cleaning. So there's one of my friends that I started the podcast with initially. She's French. And right when she broke her leg, even if I knew her for about like 3 weeks, I was like, if you're stuck at the cast for another month, tell me that I'm just going to come do the whole thing at your place. She's like, oh, you don't need to. I'm like, hey, you're going to have a month of dust. I got it. Look, it's all good. And she even told me, she's like, when I saw you cleaning, there's like really something beautiful. Like, you're really doing it because you love it. And I was surprised that somebody really said that straight up, because normally the client's not there. And for her to really see it, I really appreciated that, because I did it from the bottom of my heart. Like I did with my neighbor when I saw her kitchen wasn't as clean as it looks everywhere at her place. She's like, Sam, I can't climb up there. I'm like, you could have told me. I got it. Go sit down. I got this shit. So I do that once in a while to go help, and I cut trees for one of my friends as well. So like that. like that, I can do what I want, choose my times with everything I'm doing.
Well, hopefully the music will, like, sustain, maybe hope you'll make your fame and fortune with your music and with your collaboration there.
But it's little by little music, because
Yeah, I
to
know.
give
Sure.
you guys an example of 140,000 streams of what that gives in the pocket of the artist. Well, I checked it yesterday and it said $149.
Wow.
So, and I don't mind that. I find that's incredible for me. But literally, if you think you're just gonna live on that at the start, there's no fucking way.
Oh, sure.
So people gotta stop thinking, oh, 100,000, I'm gonna make it. The fuck not.
Yeah.
It's not
No,
even a
it's
pay.
the same with books. When I self-publish all my books, and if I sell a book for $12 on Amazon, I get, I think, $4 and change. And a lot of the books I sell as ebooks. And the theory there is you sell them for 99 cents because that's what most people sell them for. But you want to sell more ebooks so they move up on Amazon's rating list, like where it is in the standings.
Okay, yeah.
When a 99-cent ebook, I make 30 cents. So I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I love the writing and I love the process. I do have this, this dream that one day some Netflix producer is going to call me up and say, I loved your science fiction book. Let's make a movie, but that's not going to happen. One of the other things that attracted me to your story was the fact that you are a recovering person, as well as am I, as am several other people I've interviewed here. I've covered, let's see, Danny was a recovering heroin addict. Mary Beth was a recovering crystal meth addict. She became a judge.
A judge, yeah.
And I was I drank a lot. I've been sober for a long time now. And you were a cocaine addict, and you've been good for, I think, 10 years. You told me
10 years, yeah.
Did that addiction and/or recovery inform your creativity at all?
I think it pressed a pause on my life for like 7 years. I think that's what
Really?
I think. Yeah.
So you weren't doing any writing or any creating at that time. You were just doing.
Well, not the 2 years I was on it. That's for sure. I restarted writing after I became sober, but literally, I was in debt everywhere. Everywhere. We're talking about like 36,000 for sure in total everywhere. And I had no car because they took my car away, so no more permit. And I needed lawyers to re-see my children, didn't see my family in 2 years. So, and my teeth were fucking fucked up, like destroyed from A to Z. And now I fixed that. But it's literally all the fixing of that error of that 2 years.
Yeah.
It took 7 years to literally fix all that. So 5 years total for sure to get out of it and re-put my life on point, because my teeth were fucked up. I didn't even want to show myself nowhere. And I'm telling you, I was crying some nights to sleep. No fucking joke. But telling myself like I don't look that bad. I'm quite intelligent, and I have teeth so fucked up that I'm embarrassed at the highest degree. And anybody I looked at my age didn't have teeth bad like that. And it's not because I didn't brush. I brushed fucking a lot. It's literally this drug destroys your teeth. Yeah. So I always felt like I couldn't have this reset button that I felt I deserved for my teeth, especially. Oh my goodness. And then I realized that there is a reset button. And I was shocked when I figured it out, because I was taking one tooth out at a time, but we're talking about $180 each shot. So at a certain point, I figured out, since the healthcare system in Canada is free, but dentists are not, well, if you go do your research about what you're feeling, your infection in your mouth, well, literally, you swallow this taste constantly because you have infections in your mouth. So I literally amplified just a bit how much I was swallowing, because it's written online, death if you swallow too much. So I really just pushed that script that way. In 2 seconds, the dentist was like, okay, good, wait. We're going to call in Sherbrooke and you're going to go to the hospital. We're going to get that cleared. And I was like, what? And I had 18 left, but all in the front, so it didn't show that much. And I'm telling you, that day, I have it on my second camera. I filmed my teeth like this and big to really see them the last time there, because I knew this was the end. And when I arrived there, like, oh, you're going to fall asleep in this much time. Never saw it. I wake up and I tell my mom right away, they didn't do it. What the fuck are they waiting? Sam, calm down. It's already done. And I put my hand, I had no more pain, no more nerves, because they take out the nerves. I was crying like it was Christmas. How happy I was that I knew that this reset button just happened. So I locked myself up at my dad's place for like 2 months with my dog, and only my dog. and 2 months later you can go get it fixed after, and then the process of one thing after another.
So that was, the fear of losing your teeth, basically. That's what pushed you to finally stop.
No, not at all. It's literally one of my friends didn't give me a choice. And like literally he came to my place with a trailer, because everybody that tried to stop me right when he got out the door blocked him. Everybody. I didn't give a fuck. I was just saying he's trying to change me. Like, let me live my life, but I'm killing myself, and they see it, but it wasn't good enough. That's why in my cocaine song, I say like angels and friends told me I would end up to no good, but Sam, the devil on my shoulder, told me I could. So when my friend passed, he arrived with a trailer. He was like, oh, with boxes and everything. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, bro, you're coming to my place. I'm going to feed you. I'm like, what the fuck? You crazy. He packed my shit, throwing it in that thing the whole time, taped everything by himself because I wasn't moving. I didn't give a fuck. And halfway through my shit, for the first time, I'm like, man, maybe 3 meals a day could sound good. So I went to his place and I helped him move the rest of the stuff, move there, and waking up at the right time like a human, doing your bed, like the normal stuff, eating at the right times. It really helped me seeing that maybe we could start being sober. And I wasn't sober yet, because now, since I didn't need fridge, I didn't need stove, because I'm living at somebody. So I was selling that for the rest. So 3 weeks later, I see this girl on Facebook that had the balls to show herself smoking a bong. And I was like, man, that's before it was legal. So I was like, man, this girl has balls, and I like that. So I texted her, went to see her, fell in love to the highest degree. A month in, she was realizing everything I was hiding, the drugs. And she was like, okay, it's me or the drug, one or two. Like, there's no, I ain't going to see you die. And she knew. So right then and there, I was like, man, my friend took me out, and this is the girl that's going to fucking save my life, I think. And I loved her to death. I thought I was going to die with this girl. And I gave her a credit card, debit card, and the numbers that I could call to get this drug, and erased them from my phone. And she even called these places, made sure I didn't call back. And it took 33 days of pure fucking hell. No 12-step program, no intervention, literally
just pure withdrawal,
days of nightmares. Oh yeah, nightmares of me looking through the cupboards every fucking night like a psychopath, looking through the fridge, looking to rob myself, because I'm not going to take her credit card. But if I find my cards, I'm going to clear I don't give a fuck. So thank God for those two people, because
I was just going to say, so you had a really good friend who cared about you, and then a young woman who cared enough about you. And so are you still friends with those guys?
Still friends with that guy, and the girl after the breakup. We quite separated on each side, but she knows I appreciate her to the highest degree for what she did for me. And that guy is such a great person. When I started recording, I never said the story before. When I started recording at the studio, I was realizing his house is like 2 roads beside, and it's literally a tic-tac-toe, so it's really close. So at a certain point, I was talking to my friend about it, and I'm like, I feel like I'm a piece of shit if I don't go see him and tell him the impact he had, because I think he knows, but not at the degree that I feel that he was the change. And when I told him that, when I went to see him after the recording studio, I told him, like, now I'm recording my music. I'm recording how I feel. And it's all starts because you decided that no, sorry, I'm emotional. That no was not good enough. And you were like, fuck that. This kid deserves a shot. And man, I'm here today, and I'm fucking got a flame in me, and I just want to fucking help others in this hard ass life. And it's all because of you, all because you didn't take that no. So sometimes you gotta accept help. Sometimes it's just hard.
That's true. But as every addict knows, it's a lonely road. You basically walk down that road by yourself. There's help. There's 12 steps. There's meetings. There's friends. There's people who love you. But at the end of the day, you're the one going through the cabinets for 33 days. You're the one sweating out, a bottle of vodka or whatnot. But look at you now. You're a beautiful young man. You got a great smile. You're looking good. You're sounding good. And you're like, you're doing good stuff here. This is great. It's really kind of a privilege to know somebody who's gone through all that, crawled through shit, and came out clean on the other side. So good for you. Sam, I really appreciate you joining me here. I've been with Sam Gladu, DjRetsam, people. He's all over YouTube. He's all over Facebook. I think I saw, and I voted for you, America's Next Hitmaker. What's that? Give us that really quick.
So I got ridden by Busta Rhymes on Instagram, the checkmark guy. I was like, what? This guy is a legend in the rap game, and because of his speed. And he's like, oh, did you know that you have enough streams to be in this competition? I'm like, oh, might as well. And I went to see, it's not a scam. It's literally Rolling Stones magazine that are promoting this. So I got it. I got in. They put us in different groups. So I was in a group of 62 people. So it all works with free votes. So let's be realistic. If you got a huge fan base, you're probably going to win. So I'm realistic in life. Okay. I don't think I'm going to win it, but like American Idol, it's often not that person that wins that has the biggest career. So as long as the right person sees me, like that's what counts. And like I told everybody, we don't have a huge fan base. So just the fact we're in the top 10 is a huge win. And I appreciate that to the highest degree.
Maybe we'll meet again when you really hit it big. You're on the way. You might not be there just yet, but you're getting there. You've only been doing it, for what, 6-7 months?
7 months, yeah.
Look at all you've done already. Sam Gladu, thank you so much. DjRetsam, people. Check him out.
Thanks, you, Tom. Man. I really appreciate that. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, let me tell you, it's a hard flight, but you're not alone, there's always light. We're by your side, alright? Let this song be your night. Breaking trains, rising above, spreading love across the nation. Break the free base addiction, find your new elevation.